Hi guys, this is Mike. In this Cinema 4D tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the mirror tool. I'm going to go over the coordinate systems, so there's going to be screen, object, and world. I'll also talk about the mirror plane, as well as weld points, symmetric, duplicate points, duplicate tag selections, and snap to points. I'll also work within the point mode and polygon mode. Let's go to Model Layout. And we're going to use the mirror tool. So I'm going to need an object to mirror. So I'm going to go to primitives, choose a cube, and I'm going to make that editable. So what I'm going to do is delete a few polygons so it's a little bit easier to view the mirror. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this polygon in the back. And I'm going to delete these polygons here. So I'm just going to delete. And I'm going to go into edge mode, choose this edge, and holding down Command with this axis, it's going to pull this out, something like that. And I'm going to go to the mirror tool. And for the mirror tool, you can work in points and polygons mode. So I'm going to optimize, get rid of those few points. And what I'm going to do is go down to here where on this icon. You can also get to the mirror tool by right clicking, go right here, or MH on your keyboard. Now we have a coordinate system, and I'm going to go to screen. Now the way screen works is you draw, there's a imaginary line that goes from one corner diagonally to the other, and another line that goes diagonally to this corner. So as these intersections meet, anything above this plane will be the top mirror. Anything below this plane will be below, and then we have our right and our left. So what we can do is we can right or left click, excuse me, and you'll see a line as we hold down the button. And depending on where we are with this cursor, the object will be mirrored over. Now keep in mind we're in polygon mode. So if we have an object selected, or excuse me, a polygon selected, and we use the tool, let me get on this side, you'll see that the polygon is mirrored over, except none of these other polygons are mirrored over, just the selected one. And that's true for depending on where you have your cursor. Now, if you're in point mode and you use the mirror tool, you'll notice that unless there's something selected, if there's nothing selected, then all the points will be mirrored over, but none of the faces. Now, if I have points selected and I use the mirror tool, just those points will be mirrored over. So we're in screen mode. We can also use a world or object, and they work fairly similar. And I'm going to go back to polygon mode, and I am going to deselect, Shift Command A. And you can use this tool, and you'll notice this little crosshair will snap to the corners, depending on where you want the object to be mirrored over. And you can see how that will be mirrored. And you can choose the different planes. And you'll notice that the world tool works fairly similar. Now we have a few options here. We can weld points. So if we have an object that we want to duplicate over, if weld points isn't checked, then we have our points on top of the other object. And you can tell that these objects haven't been welded together, these points haven't been welded together. But if we have weld points on, excuse me, make sure I'm in polygon mode, and then we go over into point mode, you can see that those points are now welded over. Just keep in mind that these, when you mirror over, these points will have to be directly on top of each other. If not, then you can use this tolerance. And we also have the symmetric, and this works similar to the weld points in that we have a value system. And depending on where we have our object, we can have that symmetrically moved over by this value, and we can use this apply if we need to do that interactively within our viewport. And we also have duplicate points. If we want to only duplicate our polygons and not the points, we can have that unchecked. And we also have duplicate tag selection. Now what this will do, if I go into screen mode and I go into polygon mode and I select the polygon and I go to select set selection, you're going to see we have this little tag that moves over, is added to our object. And if I go to our tool, MH on our keyboard, and I deselect, Shift Command A, and I duplicate my object over, and I double click on my tag, you'll notice that I have the tag, the polygon, selected for both the object and the mirrored object. So I can delete that tag, go back to my tool, and if I have duplicate tag selection, and I'm going to undo so I remove this mirrored object. Let me get rid of this tag again. And I'm in polygon mode, select my tag, set selection, and I go into my tool with duplicate tag unselected and make sure I have that deselected, Shift Command A. Now I mirror over, I double click on my set selection tag, and only the tag that I initially selected, not the one mirrored over, is selected. So it's a very useful tool, and you can use this within orthographic view. So I'm going to undo back. So if I go into front view and I go to my tool and I go into snap, vertex snapping, make sure that's enabled, and I click and drag and that snaps to my orthographic view. Oops, excuse me, let me do that again. You can make that in screen mode snap exactly to where you want it to be. And now this is one object. So now that you can do and move it around and extrude it and do use all the other tools. So it's not like a symmetrical object. This is actually an object that's connected to our original object. I put a link in the description to download project files. You can also go to astronomic3d.com to download project files from this tutorial and all the tutorials that I've made so far. Thanks for watching.